Okay, hello everyone and welcome to another randomized gaming live stream. I am your host, Random Gamer Ribbon, and welcome all to the start of another week streaming. Apologies for the slight delay to the start. I was just getting a PS2 set up. It was taking longer than I initially was expecting. I had to fiddle around with the settings. The chip was in the mod wrong. It was on power resolutions and some other stuff I needed to sort out. I think because we've been testing forcing a little while back. But hello and welcome. This is SEGA Rally 2006. Now this game does do widescreen, but I'm not going to put it into widescreen as I've learned most of these consoles from this era, the ones that do games that tend to do widescreen tend to sacrifice picture quality as a result. So I won't be shoving it into widescreen and losing fidelity of the graphics. Sadly, this one does not support progressive scan. So let's check. So we've got, I'm just going to quickly cycle it out. Navigation world, numbers, stereo. Okay, that's good. I'll just check to see how it handles it. This is actually the latest upgrade on the Elgato software, so it's actually handling it pretty well. That's one of those weird games where they use circle and X to confirm, because so we've got career mode, we've got arcade mode, we've got time attack, and we've got records. This was... I'll quickly click on that. I've not actually done any records. This is a fresh save. So, arcade, Series 1, Series 2. Time attack, Asian, African, North American, Scandinavian, and the circuit. So this was quite a... content-packed heavy SEGA Rally. So this was released in 2006. Apparently it was originally intended for release in 2005, but due to delays it didn't get out in time. It was intended for the 10th anniversary of SEGA Rally. It's actually a very good SEGA Rally title. I think this may be what was left of SEGA Rally 3. I think this might have been the cancelled SEGA Rally 3. So there was... a SEGA Rally 3 planned with the US release date. I know there was a version of SEGA Rally 3 released years later that was basically part of SEGA Revno, or SEGA Rally Revolution as it was known on the Xbox 360. That is rubbish, that game. That is absolute rubbish. That was developed by an English studio. Oh dear. I do know a few of the development stories about that, and let's say I don't think the right people were quite working on it. Especially because I worked with some of the people who actually worked on it as well, and they basically told me what a mess it was. Which is a shame. Sumo actually did quite a good version of cutting up that one to make then do SEGA Rally 3, but it was still the flawed Revno. But the Sumo arcade one, which you've got on the channel, is actually much better. But this, I think, was the original planned SEGA Rally 3. And this is actually a really good conversion. Now, the first printing of this comes in a cardboard sleeve and also comes with the original SEGA Rally. So it's a very, very complete version. We have previously shown this off on the channel way back in about 4 or 5 years ago. So I thought I'd give it a go. So do I want to do career mode? Do I want to do arcade mode or time attack? Let's start with quick arcade. Now, do bear with me. Racing is not my forte. Usually... we really wanted to do racing streams properly. I wouldn't be doing them, Dragoon would be doing them. Well, hopefully you're all enjoying the stream. Advanced Mitsubishi. I think the classic Sega Rally cars are in this, but I think they've got to be unlocked. We've got the Subaru Impreza Rally car, flat four-wheel drive, 6-speed. We've got the Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 8 MR Rally car. We've got the Chrysler. I want to say Chrysler, but it's not. It's a Citroen, isn't it? Citroen XR Rally Cross. And we've got the Peugeot 307 Sport. And we've got the Ford Air Force Reserve Rally Car. And back to the Subaru Imperial Rally Car. I'm going to go for... Let's try the Citroen. Automatic. I'll go with automatic as my driving skills are not the best. Okay, so the new OSC update does have a... Let me just go menu. Okay, rule number 1, they didn't set drive to... Now, the PS2 is going to be a bit fun with some of these games because the PS2 does not like resolution change. Or Open Broadcast does not like PS2 resolution changes. So we'll see how far I can actually get in the stream before it crashes out. And this is one of those old school games where I can feel the rumble going crazy. Note that rumble is really, really quite stern. Put it mildly, it feels like it's constantly going. Quite turned off the rumble, I obviously didn't. It gives you the force feedback of driving on a gravelly road, which I don't really want. But in case you haven't gathered, I absolutely loathe rumble on games. I know some people loathe it, but I like it, but I loathe it. Too much oversteer on that. Come on, take it past the sky. Yeah. Yes, just. I will turn off the on-screen resolution display in a bit. Let's quickly do it here. So yes, this is one of the big changes. Where is it? Compatibility. OST off. Okay, that should do it. Apologies for the slight delay there. But yeah, this one does change resolution, so... Bear with me with this first race, it ain't going to be great. But I'll be amazed if actually... Thank you, Rumble. I don't want to feel like I'm driving down a gravelly ride when I'm playing on a joypad. Come on, can we make this race? I don't think I'm going to clear the championship, but I want to at least make this race. Come on, come on. Let's see if we can get this guy as well. Yes. The weird thing is the race, it only changes the resolutions for the load screen. I do hate games that do that. I think it's actually dropping out the signal. There are a few games that do that. I should check to make sure they are in tandem as best as possible. Got the snow stage and I got 15 seconds. You don't get a lot of time in this one, so you've just got to keep on the... You do get the... It does feel like the ice, because the original SEGA Rally game didn't have much ice in it. I think SEGA Rally 2 had some. Oh, this is going to be tight. I can feel the car sliding. This one does have slightly better feedback. If you... As I said, I'm not a huge fan of the sort of... 4, 3, 2. Oh, this is going to be tight. Not anymore. That's probably me done. Just, come on. Come on. Come on, I don't want to see the exit fight. Oh. So close yet so far. Is that retry the whole leg? Just going to retry the whole leg or just that last race? Let's retire for now and turn off that rumble. It does get, I will say, the rumble does give you a sensation of driving a rally car over the various things, but it's not what I like. I'm almost certain this game was intended for a Western release, but just didn't get it. It's a shame, really. It is a very, very good... I did check the monitor size. Yeah, that's the screen adjust. So where is it? Vibration. I mean, I can even turn it up even harder if I want. And then it goes crazy in your hands. No, I don't want... Oh. GT Force. Ah, that's probably the steering... So steering, I should probably put the accelerate to So I'll be honest, I actually think accelerate is better at R trigger, as that's a and brake is better as L trigger. So shift up. So reverse I'll leave as that. Shift up. Let's go with squash. Down next, not I'm going to do it. Change view R1, headlights L1. Then up analogs and reverse this triangle. Okay, that'll probably be better. Let's do time attack before I jump into the career mode. First you get to pick your various stage. We get the Asian round, we get the African round, North American round, Scandinavian, and the circuit. Stage 26. So you've got quite a lot of stages. Woohoo! Wait, how many stages does this game have? 240? $250, that's got to be 268, 223, 225, 259, 268, really? Now this I didn't actually know, not actually. So there are 268 stages across this game, as we saw. This game's massive. This has a proper career mode then. And we can practice on every single one. So European stage. So you got the different classes as well, but I haven't unlocked them yet. I assume SRC is going to be SEGA Rally, so... Actually, I'll be the classic. I'll be the Subaru. I'll be the automatic. As I said, racing is not my forte, so I'm not going to load Ghost Track. But as you can see, this version is absolutely packed with tracks and content. Along with an upcoming resolution change. Every time it's going to do this, I'm going to put my head in my hands. Okay, that's better. So headlights, yep, I can turn them on and off. And something now, I think this view, the handling changes quite drastically in it. You only have two views, which is perhaps a bit disappointing. The announcer doesn't quite have the over jump, medium left, medium left, medium right, cave left, cave right. You've got much more professional. What? Turn right. I kind of miss that. Cave left, turn right, easy left, easy right, long medium left. Now that was the classic SEGA Rally announcer. Finish. That's me with the added classic SEGA Rally sound effects there. Don't really do that, but it is a fantastic game, the original. And this is actually a very solid game as well. Okay, let's do stage 9 noon. Do a couple of tracks before I jump into the main race. To the Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution, so this is another sort of classic car. I mean, there's a huge selection of cars in this that you unlock as you go along. I think for me this one's slightly better than SEGA Rally 2. SEGA Rally 2 was again another one where Sega struggled a bit with the follow-up, I felt. Ironically, Sega didn't have much luck with Model 2, it has to be said. Model 3, well, let me rephrase it. Sega didn't seem to have much luck with their Model 3 games. A lot of their sequels fell a bit flat on their face, so Sega Rally 2 you just didn't see around, Daytona 2 you didn't see around. And to be honest, they aren't just as good a games as the originals. They almost wanted to do the original game with tarted up graphics and say, oh hey, but not only do you get the original game with tarted up graphics, you get the whole sequel as well as a bonus extra. I do think the controls are perhaps a little bit drifty in this, more so than the original, but you tend to adjust it a little bit. I don't think Sega quite... I think a lot of these early games, Sega did struggle a bit with the... Okay, let's do one more before I jump into career mode. Evening African stage. Which car haven't I been? I've been the Citroen, I haven't been the Peugeot. Now, the open broadcast scan converter is not ideal with interlaced content, as you see here, but this is certainly an improvement over our previous video. And I'd actually say, since I've updated the firmware on this, this does look a bit nicer than what it did previously. So I'd definitely say make sure to keep your firmware up to date. It seems to be handling it a bit better as well. There's certainly less... combing. You had a bit more combing originally. This is actually a bit better. You do get a really great sensation of speed about this, that I will say. It is a fantastic game for the speed. You do feel like you're racing around corners. That was the thing with Sega Rally. It gave you... So games like Gran Turismo, despite one time one of the games producers telling me, oh, I think it's a really good rally game. I think it's much better. It's sort of a modern take on rallying. I'm like, well, yes, but Sega Rally's still a better game. Gran Turismo is boring. Gran Turismo, I should say. Gran Turismo is very boring, realistic, as this has that driving edge of how you think you should drive, not necessarily how actual driving is. And if I don't know about people watching the stream, but I'm someone who, when I go to play a video game, I play to play something a bit fictional. So I want to be able to hurtle around street corners at high speed or streets on roads in a video game, because I know if I crash the car, nothing untoward's going to happen. But of course, when it comes to real rallying, I would want to, if I was doing this for real, I would be incredibly cautious with how I'm doing it. But yeah, because there's a sense of excitement and adrenaline with a video game that you can do, because you can do things you couldn't normally do in real life. You can take risks you might not normally take in real life. Which is what's cool about rallying. But some rally games, like Gran Turismo, was so like realistic that it felt like, well, if I try to do anything risky, I'm going to crash my car or just lose all my speed, and it just isn't fun. I mean, because there's an... This is definitely a fast stage. Ooh. Though one thing I will say, none of these courses quite have the challenge of the original Sega Rally 3, because there was 3 very unique courses in the original Sega Rally. They all had a bit of a challenge. So that is, let's do one circuit course. And then I'll jump into career mode for a bit and see how far I can get. How long before I get crash my car and just get... Okay, let's do Scandinavia. Let's do a Scandinavian track. Expect this to be the ice one again. Let's stick with one of the classics. As always, guys, if you're enjoying the stream, please hit that like button. Very much appreciated. Touchwood resolutions change coming up here. Touchwood, it doesn't crash out or anything. There's definitely a delay to the feed with this setup. It's about 30 seconds behind. But when I've started racing, you're just guys are actually just seeing the loading screen. Caution. Yeah, it isn't quite the same thing. Caution, jump! Yeah, I do not like the car seems to definitely handle heavier in this view. Circuit morning, let's do on the later ones. that was terrible. Yeah, definitely is a fantastic feeling of speed, this. It's just a shame this was one of the many Sega games on PlayStation 2 that was only available in Japan. Sega had a really bad habit of doing that. There's a lot of really good PlayStation 2 games that are only available in Japan. And while I can highly recommend a lot of them, you are going to need a modified or an import console to play them. Like a sucking cruise. Excuse me today, guys. I'm a bit tired. Oh. Here we go. Next. Feel that cool, smooth rock. I do like the music for this. Yeah, we're obviously competing in a championship with all these competitors. So we've got Total, Recap, Tain, Takara, or Takata, Sparko, Michelin, Castrol, Champion, Devil, Brembo, Ricardo, Denso. So basically lots of various manufacturers from cars and various other projects. We got Citroen, Ford, Mitsubishi Motors, Subaru and Peugeot. Yes, I'll stick with this name. These are starting cars. Hi there, Arcodo. Thanks for joining the stream. Very much appreciated. Yes, we also have the first edition print run that came with the original Sega Rally. We actually have a long play of Sega Rally also on the video. I'm just deciding. Well, not on this video, but we also on the channel. So, do I want the Ford? Do I want the 260 Peugeot? Or do I want the Subaru? Yes, the first print run of this was a wonderful package with a double disc set in an outer cardboard box. Which you just got here. It said it does come with, as I mentioned earlier as well, comes with an original. It's only the first print one came with the outer box and the copy of Sega Rally Championship Edition, because this was actually the 10th anniversary game, so it was designed to be a 10th anniversary title of Sega Rally. But they missed out by a year. But it's still a very good port. So this is the first time I've actually really sat down with the career mode. So which do I want? The Subaru? Is there anyone have any particular choices they want me to pick? Subaru, Lancer Evolution, the XR, Peugeot 206, or the 2004. Let's do the Peugeot 206 for a bit of fun. What do I want my rally car to be? Let's go something a bit noticeable. Yes. So classes. But yeah, I mean, this package is superb, and this is a really great rally game as well. So we've actually got calendars. Ooh, nice. Open class. Can't choose option 1. So obviously, I see we're racing across the year. So obviously open. We've got to register. So I can obviously, I've got to win. Now, if I can win everything, we should be able to. Let's just see what happens if we go for everything. Yeah, so obviously class 1. So I think it's obviously the prize money first. So let's do. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a practice set up on the 13th. So let's go.
Checkpoint. 100, easy right. 100, easy left. Checkpoint. 100, easy left. Into medium left. Crest. 100, easy left. Crest. Checkpoint. Crest. 100, medium left. 100, easy right. 100, easy left. Checkpoint. 100, long easy left. Go! 70, medium right. 100, easy left. 100, easy right. Checkpoint, 100, easy left. 100, medium right. 100, easy right. Checkpoint, 100, medium right. 100, very long easy left. Checkpoint, 100, medium left. Easy right, no. Crest. Crest. Checkpoint. 100, easy left. One, go! 8, long easy left. 100, long easy left. 100, long medium left. 90, long medium right. Out! Checkpoint, 80, long easy left.
Oh, sorry guys, I just realised my mic was off. Hi guys, if I didn't say hi to 8-bit. Briefly speaking to someone else. Apologies, in case you're wondering why. So yes, I haven't actually done this championship mode, so I'm just going through the menus back there just to see how they work. There's quite a bit of menu mode, as you can see there. You also get an arcade mode in this version, and you get time attack, and it's got over 260 courses I was looking at earlier, and I was like, oh wow, because I've not really spent as much time. Admittedly, they are all based on versions of a lot of the different set tracks, but this is a big rally game. This is vastly bigger than SEGA Rally 2, and probably a better game than SEGA Rally 2. SEGA Rally 2 always felt a little bit like they didn't quite know what to do with it, I have to admit. It felt like they were chasing greatness and couldn't quite... they couldn't... what's the term? They couldn't quite recapture the magic they got with the first game. But this version, I think, unfortunately fell through the cracks a bit, as it was originally released in 2006. Apparently, it was supposed to be released in 2005 as a 10th anniversary thing. I think this game is what was actually supposed to be the original version of Sega Rally 2 that Sega of Japan cancelled. But if you get this in Japan, this version is actually the first printing edition of this version. Not only do you get Sega Rally 2006, you also get an arcade, Model 2 emulation version package done by M2 of the original Sega Rally on a separate disc in a double disc pack disc bundle, which is a really, really nice version. So you get Sega Rally Championship, and we have got a video of Sega Rally Championship on the channel for the PlayStation 2 as well if you want to see what that version looks like. I think it's nigh on arcade perfect. I think M2's emulation wasn't quite spot on when they did it, so I don't think it's actually 100% arcade perfect. M2 were often lauded as the best retro guys out there, but having looked at their work more recently, they're not. They were on the PS2, their work was fantastic, but they have slipped behind quite badly recently. Some of their newer stuff was quite as good. Hi there, Randomised Gaming. We're based in the UK, if you're wondering. Gaming 765. The Sega Rally Rev, no, I'm not a huge fan of the Xbox 360 version. It was called Sega Rally Revolution. I think it was just called Sega Rally in Europe, but it was developed by a team that I don't think quite got what made the original so special. Appreciate the likes, guys, very much. Appreciate it if you're enjoying the stream. Very much appreciate it. Of course, if you're new to the channel and you like our content, please do have a browse the channel, look at our videos, and there are quite a few Sega Rally videos. I've got a Saturn playthrough. I've got the arcade one from the PlayStation 2, and we got Sega Rally online racing, and there is a video of this as well, but this is quite an old one, so this stream is a much nicer, newer video. Yeah, Sega Rally 2, they couldn't. Lightning didn't strike twice for for Sega, with both Daytona 2 and Sega Rally 2 neither quite hit the mark. I think the track design let both games down. There's something about the original Sega Rally and Daytona where they got the track design spot on. Even this one, the track design's a little bit bland. There was something about Sega Rally, which is why it's a masterclass, I've said before, in track design, is that every turn was given a unique feel. So you could tell where the birds were in the forest, you could tell where the stone walls were, where the spectators would be. Where you'd go under the bridge in the forest section, and then you had the sort of mountain village in the mountain section. You also had the infamous hairpin turn through the chicane right early on. There's something about that track design where it was very, very, very memorable, which is what you need for really good arcade racing track design. And Sega never quite repeated it, as they went for slightly more realistic tracks in an arcade game, so they just weren't as interesting. Yeah, I mean, Sega Rally 2 was still a good conversion. It wasn't a great port as Genki did it, and they weren't. Genki had a couple of the ports. Sega farmed out a couple of ports to Genki. Genki weren't a decent developer. I have actually worked with them, but they didn't quite get some of the racing mechanics. Although they had done their own racing games, their racing games were slightly different to like Sega Rally and Daytona. And I think they also had issues with they were rushed as well to get those ports out. I must admit, it was really, really rare to actually find a Sega Rally 2 arcade game. I don't know how successful it was. I have a feeling Sega Rally 2, unfortunately, didn't do very well at all in arcades. I think I've seen one once or twice. It was very, very rare compared to the original Sega Rally, which you saw all the time in arcades. You couldn't move. You'd go to about 10 arcades and you'd probably have about 7 or 8 Sega Rallies, if not 10. Whereas Sega Rally 2, it was really hard to find. Yeah, I don't know what it is with Model 3 games. A lot of them just haven't appeared, which is just weird. You have... I mean, I'd really like to see Scud Race as well, which was hugely popular for a lot of people. Scud Race, again, that never made it. So Daytona 2, Scud Race, never got ports. It just seemed weird. There were a couple other Model 3. There were quite a lot of Model 3 arcade games that didn't get ported. Sega Rally 2 and Virtua Fighter 3 Team Battle were a couple of the two that did get ports, and those ports weren't great. Same with Fighting Vipers 2, and that wasn't arcade perfect on the Dreamcast as well, as we discovered. So there's a weird mix of stuff. A lot of the Model 3 stuff, I think because the Dreamcast was a step up from Model 3, and Model 3 was released really before the Dreamcast, but it was during the Saturn's lifespan, and the problem was Model 3 was too powerful for the Saturn. I mean, they could have done versions of Model 3 games on the Saturn, but they would have been heavily cut down. Yeah, I knew quite a few people who wanted Scud Race and are still waiting to this day for a home port Scud Race, and Daytona 2 as well. There was some speculation they were going to port Daytona 2 a year or two back, and then it just vanished. I would love to see a complete version of Daytona 1 and 2 with all the tracks and everything. That would just be fantastic. I think that would be something everyone... Because when games haven't been ported, there's a real anticipation demand for them. I mean, I'd jump at a chance to play Daytona 2 on the home. At the minute, the only way to do it is via emulation. Yeah, supposedly Daytona 2 was coming, and then they decided not to port Daytona 2 because it had done so well, and then they did Daytona USA 2001. I don't know why they didn't add in the tracks for Daytona 2 into Daytona 2001. So I have seen Daytona 2000. I saw it once in Spain, and oddly enough, once they actually had one in the Lake District. There was an arcade on the Lake District a few years back. However, the year after we visited, the Lake District got flooded, so I suspect that arcade unit was destroyed, sadly. Along with House of the Dead 4, which is a bit of a shame. But yes, there was a nice little arcade in the Lake District. That had some... Lake District's a really wonderful part of the UK if you've never visited it. But yes, I basically saw Daytona 2 twice, as far as I can remember. Once in Spain and once in the Lake District. About 7 years back in the Lake District, actually. Might have been 6, actually. But yeah, the year after we visited there, it actually got flooded, so... that's probably not around that board anymore.
100, medium left, checkpoint, 100, medium right.
Yeah, brilliant stuff.
Medium right.
This is a...
Narrow, 90, medium left, checkpoint, 100, medium
Amelia, I don't think this quite has the magic of the original either, but it's still a very good game. And I think this one's probably a better game for me than Sega Rally 2. I think Sega Rally 2 is just not quite as good. No. Hi, Two Chick Bone. Thanks for joining the stream. No, I haven't played Daytona 3, and nor do I want to, as by all accounts, it was pretty rubbish. Although you can... Because it was literally a PC game, Sega inadvertently put it up on their website a year or two back. So It's not too hard to say to find, but it was developed by a Hong Kong or Chinese team who knew nothing about the game, and Daytona 3 is, for want of a better word, garbage, quite frankly. There's nothing. It's one of those cheap cash imports that basically Daytona. It's one of those games. If I was in charge of Sega, I would retcon and can't. So I don't know how well it did. I don't think I've seen Daytona 3 around. I mean, it had a bit of a sort of celebrity, a sort of limited run. It was sort of an anniversary thing, but it was just meh. So hopefully I'm doing slightly well at these races. I'm hoping I'm going to unlock something. I'd like to at least see Daytona 3, but I've not seen it around much at all. It's, again, another one. But, yeah, as I said, it's possible to find it. Yeah, it's basically... It was developed by a Chinese team. It wasn't developed by... It was basically by... I think Sega handled the production, and it was developed by some offshoot studio. It's not... It just isn't a very good game, Daytona 3. It's an embarrassment to the franchise. It was basically done on the cheap, and it was widely derided. I mean, I'm a huge Sega racing fan, and I would love to see them get back into the swing, making some quality racing games. And I think they could still do it. I think there's a market for some really good arcade races. But Sega to have it of releasing games and not advertising it, and then their fans not really picking it up. Yeah, I think they may have done a bit of a rename to it. I know there was a lot of disappointment with it. It was it's like the Panzer Dragoon remake done by that Polish studio, which we've covered on the channel. Oh dear. Let's just say we did a long play on the channel, but my commentary of it was not well. I wrote the text for it. I was not the most tarmac. Ooh, can I get away with soft tyres then on tarmac? I should be able to get with dry, shouldn't I? Noon, sunny. Yes. Yeah, it didn't look great, Daytona 3. I mean, I realise some studios make a living out of doing cheap productions. And fair play, if you want to make budget games, by all means. But with the case of Panzer Dragoon, don't do cheap productions with beloved series and franchises. If you're going to do... You need to do a proper job. And as someone who's worked in video games, I can tell you now, if I was in charge of half those developments, I would be accepting nothing less than perfection for a lot of the classic games. I mean, there are some really good projects where they've taken old games and updated them, but I must admit, as a general rule, a lot of the remakes and updates haven't been great because they've cut too many corners. Square Enix's output, many of their updates have been, for want of a word, well, bastardizations, basically, of their previous work. Stuff like the remake of Mana and stuff is just appalling. Oh dear. Didn't want to do that. Yeah, these dries are much faster on the tarmac. This does have a lot of rumble, this game, if you want, but I switched it off as I was complaining. You get all the feedback, which is nice if you like rumble, but I'm not a big fan. Yeah, Scud Race was really good. Scud Race, Outrun 2006 and Outrun SP is fantastic as well. But they definitely have been a bit hit and miss with their arcade races after Daytona and Sega Rally. Okay, I need something a bit faster, but I'm going to need some cash to buy something, so... I don't seem to be making headway in the rankings at the minute. I'm guessing these early races are about earning the money. Yeah, I mean, it was nice the remake for Panzer Dragoon made it available again to more people. But when you played it, it was... I mean, they did a best recreation of, and it's not bad, but it's missing so much from the original, which is my issue. They need to really patch it and get it up to standard. I'm not even bothering with PS5 at the minute. All the Xbox X Series and PS5 at the minute, I think, are just a total waste of time and money. I think they're consoles that should have been released next year, not this year. So I'm not even gonna spend even a moment talking about them. I think it's disappointing. They were both waiting for someone to blink and actually, I think, delay them, which they should have done. Instead, they've released two very buggy consoles. So, and for me, from a professional point of the industry, I'm beginning to think Microsoft and Sony. I think there needs to be almost like government regulation to say, no, you're not releasing unfinished consoles. And to be honest, the spec for them is subpar. I think both consoles could have done with delaying about a year or two, and then they would have actually had some decent spec. I mean, all they're talking about is ray tracing, which is a lighting system that just changes a bit of lighting. They're not really much more powerful than the current systems. There's really no incentive for... I think, based on... I think we might be in for a bit of a rough economical situation, and I can see both those consoles not faring too well because they're not really much of an upgrade. They don't offer much in additional power. I think they should have waited a year or two more, perhaps even 3, because I think they really needed to get the tech down. Solid state drives aren't quite there yet, so that's another issue, and they're still not quite cost effective either. And basically the hard drive is going to be a real issue with the current storage. Oh, the chat box, really? That's odd. Showing up in mine. Not showing up in mine. Try refreshing just in case 8-bit SNK boy. Maybe that'll give it a jig. It might... I don't know if the fact that the Elgato is dropping the feed. No, it shouldn't do because the OBS is streaming. Hopefully this is handling the resolution changes better than it did with some of the other... Yeah, that's the thing. You're dead right there, Atoric. So I don't... Anyone, whenever I see... I'm going to say... Don't say generation... Don't refer to gaming by generations. Refer to the eras. Referring to a seventh generation, what is the 7th generation? I really hate that whole generation terminology that people have tried to cover. It's garbage. Don't use it. Are you referring to mid-90s consoles, mid-80s, late 80s, early 2000s? If I'm being honest, the gameplay really hasn't improved since 32-bit games. We've been stuck with games designed from that era, if I'm being brutally honest. But in terms of power, yeah, we're still... you're basically dealing with 360 games with a better, slightly shinier skin on. But yeah, don't use that generations term. I don't know who's come up with it, but it's garbage. Refer to the sort of eras of, because as somebody said, what's the sixth generation, what's the first generation? Because that's all disputable. It's better to say 70s consoles, 80s, early 80s consoles, or early 80s arcade, late 80s arcade. And that way you'll group them together better. It's a really weird thing he came up with, that generations thing. So I'm starting to clamp down on when people mention it, because it just doesn't make any sense.
Checkpoint. 100 easy right into easy left.
Yeah, I mean, there are people, I'll be honest, I think if you get what I call the tech heads who will rush out and buy anything when it first comes out, and so some of those guys will be hardcore Microsoft and Sony fans. That's cool. If they want to buy them, that's cool though. But you do get people who I would describe as, some of them will be a bit gullible and a bit mugs, who will buy it, play it for 10 minutes, and then will literally sell it on because they'll get bored of it. Yeah, I mean, arguably, the effectively, even PS2 games we are building up, you can argue that the gameplay hasn't really advanced from sort of PS2 games. I think I'd like to see, we can do more original, interesting ideas, and we just haven't seen that. So yeah, that's the thing. They will almost certainly release a pro or enhanced version of both those consoles, as you say, Two Chicken, as you say. Araka. I think it's Araka, is that correct? Araka? Apologies if I get your name, slightly odd spelling. Araka. But yeah, I agree. I think we haven't seen the evolution in games, and I think also that we are just waiting on a year down the line there'll be an upgraded version. Interestingly, Nintendo were going to do an upgraded Switch, and then they dialed back on it. But we're sort of waiting for the upgraded Switch, because at the minute the problem with the Switch is the Joy-Cons. They haven't addressed the fix. The Nintendo need to Nintendo really need to address that Joy-Con drift issue, and I'm hoping for an upgrade to the Joy-Cons and stuff, and a slightly reduced price point. But at the minute, the Switch, I'm not that impressed with the Switch. But then, having been a Wii U owner, I was like, oh, the Wii U is quite a good console, but the concept, strangely, when I played the Wii U, I thought this would have been better if this was a combined mobile and handheld and console unit, and sure enough, that's what they did with the Switch. As some people said, thank you, the Wii U was the Switch beta.
100 very long easy left. Long easy left. Medium right into medium left.
Yeah, I think there has been a glut in design, as you say, Araka. You've basically got better graphics, slightly bigger arenas. I mean, we've had this horrible open world thing. Was basically, and ironically, you had open world games even on the ZX Spectrum. We've had PS2 like Grand Theft Auto. I mean, effectively, it's just a 3D version of Grand Theft Auto 1 we've had. I mean, there are a lot of games that I think they need to do more interesting things with. As I've really felt, they should have been doing a lot more interesting things with AI and how game environments reacted, which would be really interesting, you know, like being able to blow up a lot more, or having the environments change, the weather changing real time a lot more consistently. Things like that you don't see that would be nice to see. I mean, one game I have played this gen that's actually pretty good was Shadow of Mordor, and what worked quite well at that was the sheer number of enemies you had on screen at points, and when you could, like, once you can start brand the orcs as you're battling them, so you can convert them. You can literally be fighting them and converting them as you're fighting them, so then you can have like 15, 20, 30 orcs rush you, and then you can suddenly have 10 on your side and 20 on theirs. There are some big fights in that as well. That was actually quite... that had some nice design ideas. And Monolith are a bit of an odd studio. They've done some really good games and had some really, really bad luck with them. Monolith, one of the studios I've always wanted to succeed really big, and they seem to... Oh, what was that? Please be tarmac, please be tarmac.
3, 2, 1, go!
Yeah, I must admit, we didn't pick up a PS4 at launch. In fact, we only recently picked up an Xbox. So only one of the guys recently picked up an Xbox Series X. We basically waited till the Pro came out and the price reduction, because stuff like those updated consoles, when they started releasing enhanced version, it's just really aggravating. And I'll be honest, the support for the 360, it means the 360 is still being supported at the minute, so as is the PS3. And the PS3 is actually still very popular in Japan, it seems. Still a lot of players play it. Yeah, it's got a few nice mechanics with a number of orcs, but yeah, it's granted it is based on the Batman Arkham Asylum, but it does some interesting things that Arkham Asylum didn't. But yeah, basically Monolith I do feel a bit sorry for, because a lot of the time they've been shoehorned to do Rocksteady games. And I must admit, the Batman, as we said on the 360 one, we didn't think the gameplay would hold up for Arkham Asylum. I was probably right, because the original game was fantastic, but the gameplay wasn't diverse enough to hold up for the sequels. It did dip quite badly. Although they're still excellently produced titles, and some very well-ly produced games here in the UK, because there aren't really too many at the minute. We don't have many really high-quality developers in the UK. Yeah, Sony still regularly update the PlayStation 3, I know, because I've been downloading PSP stuff and PS3 stuff. And the most recent firmware came out like a week or two ago. I think it's so they can keep it in line with the PS4. Because the messaging's linked. Yeah, the Nemesis system's quite good. The reason I think it wasn't in the 360 PS3 version was purely for server costs, but because the Nemesis system could have been done, but there's some nice ideas. And Monolith has said they've done some really great games and some really bad luck with them.
3, 2, 1.
I really wish Shogun Mobile Armor Division had done better, because that is a fantastic game. As is Blood, and they've done some really... Fear was a pretty solid FPS series as well. Although I will say Fear was a little bit generic. but Shogo, Blood, and they did some other games like look at some of their early games. They did like a couple of medievals and puzzle ones. Grunts, or I think it's Grunts or something. It's a really good puzzle game. They've done some really good games, Monolith. It would be nice if you could actually pick them up again. Some really interesting retro classics on PC. Come on, I want to take this guy. Yeah, I definitely need a better car. Oh. I must admit, because I've recently updated the M2 scan converter, it's definitely looking a lot nicer, I will admit. Yeah, I think they're splitting. So I think they're going to split things like PS3 trophies and stuff now, because I think they're going to shut down the 360 and PS3. There's no way they're going to keep There's no way Microsoft and Sony are going to keep all three consoles running. So we are going to see the shutdown of Xbox. Certainly 360. I think some of the 360 support will shut down. Although I think some of the games are peer-to-peer. But yeah, as you're seeing now, you're going to see more and more games have online elements shut down and deactivated, which is going to become a problem for some of the newer games, because there have been a few this generation that have been built to be online. So, I mean, the live service games are their own kettle of fish. But there are some single-player games, like recently Mad Max, they shut down the servers. And now they've shut down the servers for that. Trying to get one of the items in game is incredibly slow and tedious now as a result. Come on, can I take this? Come on. Yeah, I definitely need a better car. Probably should can tune the car now. Maybe it's got some cash. Come on. Certainly a very... I will say this career mode is definitely massive, and there is lots to unlock in it. So this version on the PS2 is certainly not short of content, that's for sure. Oh, that feels good. Oh, time is up. That was annoying. I really don't think to do a lot at this point in the, obviously, because it's the start of this. I can't do much customization other than the... Can I actually buy a new car? Okay, so we can start to update the car. Yeah, they have started to... So if I update my car, is that going to mean I can't race it in open races then? Appreciate the likes, guys. Thank you very much for your support. Okay, so that is a class 1 car. So obviously they probably want me to update my car at this point to make it class 1. So let's do that. Screen was I just on again? This one. Was this one down when you could upgrade it, wasn't it? Wow. Yeah, I do think there should be TRCs for basically requirements too. Yeah, I mean the 360's been supported for a lot longer. There's a few games that have been shut down. I mean, a few games that have actually been shut down from a legal point in the UK. There have been a couple of games that have been shut down that were not were actually, you had a legal case against the developers because under the UK and even in Europe, you've got a 2 years minimum guarantee on goods, and in the UK you have the sales of good acts, which protects you up for about 5 years. So if they're chopping out elements of the game within 5 years, you have a case to argue that that game is not fit for the purpose sold. Okay, so that's the garage. Can I actually... I should have gone and entered those races. Oh, damn it, I skipped some. I should have gone back. Yeah, just about everything's still online on PS4. PS4's fine, guys. The PS4 working fine. There's nothing shut down on the PS4. It's only really the PS3 that... but even though most of those games sort of peer-to-peer, so still a lot of them work. Okay, obviously you need credits to... I did wonder if you need credits to actually do some of the races, so... So yeah, that's start. Yeah, a lot of PS3 games are still up and running. I was actually been playing Gundam Extreme Verse and managed to get players on Street Fighter. On players on that, and they're still quite. I mean, one of the guys actually in the team's been boosting Arkham Gotham. The Monolith game, the Arkham Gotham City Imposters, which is still up and running, and you can still occasionally. I mean, a lot of those games you will actually, when you search, get no match found. And Destiny 1's still up on the 360 and PS3 at present. The tyres, that's gravel, so I want soft. Yes. Server's got shut down. Yeah, I mean the one of the biggest ones I miss is Chrome Hounds, which was a fantastic game, and that got shut down. From Software have been quite bad for shutting down a couple of their games. Armour Core 5 was shut down in less than a year. Well, most games use peer-to-peer, so they are still up and running, but there are a few that didn't. Quite a few of them used GameSpy servers on the PS3 and the Wii, so all the Wii stuff largely got shut down when GameSpy was shut down. Yeah, weirdly, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood's a bit of a nightmare to play because no one downloads the DLC, so in order to get players, you basically have to play without the DLC. Not that Brotherhood Online's that great a game, I have to admit, but there's still a lot of players. So this is actually a really good content. If you fancy the PS2 Sega Rally game and you can play Japanese PS2 games, I highly recommend Sega Rally 2006. Great music, great visuals, great gameplay, massive career mode. If you don't mind putting up with a bit of Japanese, although these days if you can take pictures, a quick slap into an image translator and you will largely be able to work out what most of the menus say and do. Although I'm having to play bind at the minute via my memory. Last time I checked, MK11 2011 was still online. Certainly on the Xbox 3... PS4, unless they've or have they just shut them down? I know Warner Brothers are just shutting down the Shadow of Mordor servers right now, so they get shut down at the end of December. And once they get shut down, that means that this course is quite dark. So I've been doing interlacing over the open source scan converter over the latest firmware, and this is actually much cleaner than it used to look. It's holding up the visuals very well. This is definitely a darkly lit stage. It's a mud track and I can't quite see. Oh, there we go, the sunset. Oh, yes, 2011, yes. I'm thinking of MK10. Oh, well, I'm not getting all the trophies on the PS3 version of MK. Mortal Kombat 9, yeah. And that's a really good version as well, Mortal Kombat 9. Yeah, Dragoon was a huge Fancy Star Online. He's still got pictures. He was online when they shut down the Fancy Star Online servers. Bought and downloaded PSN games. No, unless they're cross-buy. But as far as I'm aware, there are no PS3 games that cross-buy with PS5. So there are a couple of PS3 games that cross-buy with PS4 and PS Vita, but there aren't any with PS5, so no, you'll have to re-download them or purchase them anew. And yeah, Ariko says it's PS5 only supports, basically only going to work with the PS4. I have a feeling this is gravel, so honest. The PS4 architecture is very similar to the PS5. The PS3 had quite a bit of different architecture, and as a result, playing PS3 games on PS4 and PS5 is actually very tricky. Yeah, I've never actually. I didn't, because we didn't get a PS4 too much later. We've never played the PT demo, so I didn't see what the concept was like for it. But all I'll say is I'm not surprised Konami let Kojima go. Battlefield 1943, has that been shut down on 360 now then on PS3? Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor both have the Nemesis system, with the shutdown at present only for Shadow of Mordor. But yes, I have a suspicion you won't be able to transfer your Nemesis from the two games once. You might be able to, but basically once they shut down the servers, you won't be able to get the Platinum Trophy. Yeah, I've got loads of great PS3 games that I would love to play on the PS5, and I've got quite a lot of the arcade port. I got all the SNK ones they did, the Neo Geo ones that we actually streamed one on Friday. Okay, much appreciated all the likes, guys, on stream. I will be back streaming again tomorrow. I'm going to wrap this up in the not too distant future. It's been great chatting to you all. And just to recap, this was SEGA Rally 2006, developed by SEGA and published by SEGA, and released in 2006 on the PlayStation 2. And sadly, as I said earlier, it is only available in Japan, so you're going to need to get an import console or get various mods for your PS2 in order to play it. I really wish this had been released in the West, but sadly it wasn't. Definitely feels a bit more... I'm not a fan of this third-person view, as I said earlier. It changes the handling quite drastically. You certainly need to slide a lot more. But yeah, get the headlights as well. I should put the headlights on the darker stages. Totally forgot about the headlights. But yeah, big game. There's over 260 stages in this. I think it was about 268. So this is definitely a big career mode. I'll do a couple more races. I think I've got one. I think I might do one more and then I'll wrap it up. Does anyone have any suggestions for what they'd like to see on the PS2 over the week? I haven't quite decided what I'm going to stream yet, so if you've got any suggestions, now would be the time to fire it to me. And I can see if we've got it and dig it up. As long as it's not a music game, which due to the licensing, there's just no point in trying to do. GT Club, yes. That was one of those games that was only available for a short period before it got delisted. I would really love to play the PS3 version of that. It did get a Wii release. Yeah, they're shutting down, as I said, it's the end of the month. They shut down the Vendetta. So you lose the Vendetta achievement, so you can't get a platinum from the original game, and you won't be able to complete either the Lord of the Hunt or Bright Master campaign either on Shadow of Mordor, because they're shutting down the Lord of the Rings achievement from Bright Master, I think it is, and they're shutting down the Hunt Master, or the Mistress of the Hunt, I think. So let's just exit out. I might do a quick arcade mode. Yeah, I'll do one last arcade mode before I finish this stream. Let's try Series 1 again. So we've got Series 1, Series 2, Series 3. Not the sequel, I think just the original at present. They haven't announced anything about the sequel. There's a couple of websites like True Trophies and True Achievements that detail sort of shutdowns, and it's only Shadow of War that's getting shut down. Yeah, if you want to do it, you're going to have to get the achievements for Shadow... No, Shadow of War's still around, but I mean, the Shadow of Mordor they're shutting down a few of them. I think it's because Warner Brothers aren't... I think their parent company isn't in great financial shape, and I think they're cost cutting at the minute, so... But yes, if you have any PS2 games you'd be interested in me streaming this week, please do let me know now. I suspect, I need to check the calendar, but I think next week will be the last week for streams until the new year. Though I will try and get in quite a few videos over the Christmas period, although I won't be around much on the channel at all as I take a regular Christmas break over the Christmas period. They're shutting down, so you won't be able to get... Yeah, so the Vendetta achievement repaid is the one for the main game. They're shutting down one for the expansion that's like Lord of the Rings that requires you to do an online leaderboard challenge, which is one of the hardest achievements in the game. The same with the Huntmaster one. There's 2 achievements in the DLCs that are each linked to leaderboards, and they're shutting down the leaderboards. So you look on a website like True Trophies or True Achievements, they list they have the shutdown and the 3 achievements getting delisted. Shinobi on PS2. We could do that if I can find where Shinobi is. If I can't find Shinobi, I'll grab the sequel. Yeah, I don't mind doing Shinobi. I'm guessing from your avatar, you're a bit of a Shinobi fan, Orica. So this arcade mode really is much like the classic arcade mode you saw from old. Really is good fun. Ooh, yeah, I mean look at the speed. This car's at 200. Ooh. Come on, keep the speed up. Keep the speed up. I'll try and get... Yeah, if I can't dig up Shinobi, I will dig up the other one. Its follow-up, was it Ninko? Yeah, it's not a bad game, the remake of Shinobi. I mean, you got a sequel with Ninko, so... Yeah, I'm not going to do all Sega games, so I'll do a mix of stuff. So I'll probably do Shinobi and this as the Sega stuff, but I'll probably do some non-Sega stuff as well. I'll save the Yakuzis for another day. Nightshade, yes, that's the... Dead to Rights we don't have on the PS2, but I can certainly cover it on the Xbox at some time. The original Xbox. But we don't have Dead to Rights on the PS2, so I can't cover it on the PS2. Well, if I was going to do Dead to Rights, I'd actually do it on the Xbox One, because it's actually an Xbox One enhanced game. Looks really, really nice, although strangely, its 2 sequels aren't enhanced. Neo Contra, yes, we definitely have both the Contra games in the archive, so I can cover. I'll gladly cover Neo Contra. I wouldn't mind doing that myself, actually. I wouldn't fancy doing Contra Shattered Soldier because that is brutally hard, but Neo Contra I don't mind doing. The question is, I've got to find where they are. Okay, I've got a lot more time on this stage than I was here before, so hopefully I should be able to do it this time. I'm 6, so let's see how well I can do. Can I get into the top? Oh, these cars are really... It's really difficult to actually take some of the cars in this one this time around. Because as you see there, it's literally blocking... So that's probably one thing also. The original Sega Rally, you never had issues taking cars. In this version, a lot of the roads are so slim you just can't get past them at points. Probably one of my few negatives on this version.
Medium right. Checkpoint.
He's
Medium left. Checkpoint. 100. Medium left. 100.
Come on, come on, come on. Yes, 4th, that's not bad. That'll do for me this run. Catamaria Yep, we can do Catamaria Dimatra. We can actually do the original one and the second game, so we can do Catamaria de Samatra and We Love Catamaria. Yeah, we don't. No one here's got any of the Neo Geo Need for Speed games on PS2, so. Yeah, if there's any games, let me know. I can always consider covering it over a week or two, so I might cover next week as well. We can also do PS1 games, as you say. And it's been a while since we've done PS2 stuff, so. Okay, that was good fun. I'm going to try them. Seeing as I did that series, I'm going to try the next series. Okay, what I'll do is I'll take a note of what we do and do you guys suggest and do a mix. I'll cover some of them, not all of them. Ridge Racer 5 we have, but I probably won't cover another racing game this week as I've already covered SEGA Rally. I do like to try and do something a bit different. I'll be honest, the Xbox only has a slim library of the PS2 games, so it's well worth Rudgar the Legendary, that's yeah, that's one we definitely don't have, Rudgar the Legendary Adventure. There are a few Rudgar games or sort of updates we haven't played, so I will probably do an RPG as well. Yeah, I'm surprised there hasn't been a Ridge Racer collection, actually. Certainly the original arcade games would be nice. Because you've got Ridge Racer, the PS1 games, you've got Ridge Racer Revolution, you've got Rave Racer, or Rage Racer, and then you've got Ridge Racer Type 4. Alright, I'm going to go for it. Can I get first this time? Oh, just out. Yeah, we got Rage Racer, but not Rave Racer, I think. Yeah, we're probably the same. We tended to get them for Xbox over the PS2. But that's partly because the Xbox actually an original console I got. So the Xbox is mine, and I had that many years before I ever got. Well, in fact, the PS2 was mine later as well. I ended up getting one purely because I was working in the industry at the time and needed to play some PS2 games. Doing well. Oh no. Can we take this car? Come on, come on. No, not quite. Yeah, Namco had a really bad habit of releasing lots of DLC for their games for a while. I think they've started to rein it in a bit now because it's not been selling, but Ace Combat on the 360, still to this day, all the DLC will cost you about 80 quid. Which is scandalous. On top of that, you have one of the purchases on the DLC is the Ace of Aces difficulty for the game, and you have to purchase every single mission on that difficulty individually. That is just scandalous. I'm guessing the Ridge Racer didn't sell well was probably the answer. I need to take this guy if I wanted to win. I'm not going to be... I think I'll be lucky if I even finish this. Okay, appreciate all the likes, guys. I will be wrapping it up after this race. So very much thanks for the suggestions as well. I will certainly do a couple of them. Yeah, Namco did that for quite a lot of games as well. They did some horrendous DLC. I mean, Gundam Verse, there's about 30 odd Gundams to buy in DLC. Although if I'm being honest, the later Ridge Racers, I mean, I was playing the 360 one quite recently, and while it looked okay, it really wasn't very good at all with the weird sliding mechanic. Probably should brake a touch more. No, no. I shouldn't have broken them, I'd have taken him. Come on, buddy. Get out of my way. Get out of my way. Yes, yes, I've taken him even if I'm going to... Oh, just. Well, I'm screwed this next lap countdown, but I will try and see if... Well, I'm not going to get this guy. We're going to get to the cave, and then it's going to be all over. Yep, time up. Bargain bin, nice, yeah. I think a lot of the later Ridge Racers... a lot of the later refrigerators didn't do that well. I think the 360 onwards, a lot of them weren't actually that good either, so they kind of lost the arcade feel and went a bit bizarre. Okay guys, that's it. That's a wrap from me. Thank you all for watching. I've been your host for the stream, Random Gamer Riven. Thank you all very much for joining me. Thanks to 8-Bit SNK Boy. Thanks to Arika. Hopefully I pronounced that name right. And to Chick Bones as well. Thank you guys. Thanks for being on stream for all the time. Very much appreciated. I will be back again streaming tomorrow night. So I will have a route for your suggestions. I'll definitely pick one of your suggestions for tomorrow night, guys. So thank you very much. And thanks to, who was the other guy on stream? We had X Gaming X765, although I don't think he's here anymore. But this has been SEGA Rally 2006. As I said before, developed by SEGA in 2006. It was published by SEGA and it was only released in Japan. That's great, guys. Thanks for being on stream, everyone. Yeah, it's good chatting with you all. I will try getting the stream notice up tomorrow a bit earlier. We do have a Super Stardust video going up tomorrow as well, so if you stay, keep an eye on the channel and we'll have some videos. But yes, I will have some more videos. And always, if you enjoy our content, please do hit that subscribe button, although I expect most of you guys in the chat are already subscribed. But thank you guys for coming back as always. And again, please do hit that like button if you enjoy the content. So that's it from me. I will wish you a good night, a good evening, good morning, or a good afternoon wherever you are in the world. I've been your host for this randomised gaming stream, Random Gamer Riven, and I will see you all tomorrow. Have a good night, everyone.